Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is Vikings Season 5, Episode 18, Baldur. Wow, what a good episode of Vikings. I think Vikings is in a good rhythm. These last probably 3 or 4 weeks now have been really fun episodes. This one in particular had a very unique kind of feel to it, a dreaminess to it, but still like a sense of humor to it all. Action was moving forward. We hit a lot of really fun moments in this episode. Ivar had some interesting touches lingered throughout. I thought he was used exceptionally well in this episode. The Hvitserk storyline was interesting. He finally was on a storyline I was really engaged in, and it made his character all the better because I've always generally liked his character, but they've given him not much to do throughout the series other than be a sidekick to either Ivar or Ubbe. So it's good to see him finally get a storyline of some sort, and that was really interesting. I can't wait to break that apart to see if that was a test. I tend to think that was a test that Olaf was pulling on him to see his loyalty to going against Ivar, to make sure it just wasn't a trap. It's a trap. Bjorn had a very interesting dynamic in this episode too with Harold, and that's kind of leading to a big melting or big explosion point. Ubbe and Torvi had another really effective, small but effective points where her character just kills it. Lagertha returned, and let's not bury the fucking lead. Ragnar Lothbrok made an appearance in the house tonight. Holy crap. The Alfred stuff, even just a little bit continuously, is awesome this season. I'm sorry. Alfred's really killing it this season. And Judith, the whole Judith side angle, as I misread that scene last week, and everyone in the live chat corrected me. Judith found a lump or something and looks like she's not long for this world, and we've met up with Lagertha again, who seems to have actually aged a little bit. They added a scar to her face where they cleaned her up and stuff. She still looks pretty young. It's still interesting seeing the two of them call another girl young because she looks young. And then Floki finally ditched all the Alcerans. I love how Floki just basically said, guys, you guys are an uninteresting story. Go fuck yourselves. I'm going to go try to do something interesting. Could you excuse me for a second? I'm going to move on in the storyline and go to something like far more engaging. Me by myself on the island talking to a soccer ball named Wilson would be more interesting than talking to you fucking dweeb-centric. I don't know. I'm sorry. As much as I think last week's episode added some weight to some of the Iceland stuff, it still has yet to grab me, or those characters never really grabbed me. So saying goodbye to them, essentially, I hope, is no big loss. I mean, I just wish, and again, this is just if wishes were horses and you can stick a finger up my butt. Like, I don't know what that expression is, but so I don't want to play too far back on this, but I wish they streamline the Iceland stuff a little bit more, and we got to what last week's conclusion was a half a season ago. It would have made it shows me that they could have done something more interesting there, but they just dragged it out a little bit too much. But that's not about this episode. The best part of this episode is Floki going, fuck you guys. I'm going to go into this hole in the mountain, call it hell, and hopefully it will be better than Iceland. But I think it was a really great episode. Again, I think this season keeps heading uphill, which makes me excited for these final 2 episodes. This was one of the best setup episodes ever in Vikings. It just moved it along really well, or at least in this reboot series with the Ragnar's sons that we're in, the move along series or wherever we're in. It was probably one of the best move along episodes I've seen. It created this dream dynamic through most of it too, this weird sort of dreamosity to it. Oh, yes, it did, Phil. Get out of here, Goofy. No one wants to talk to you tonight. So I don't know. I was really all about this episode tonight. As much as I wanted to say maybe last week's or the week before that was one of my favorite episodes, there was just something about the tone and the way this was edited. I don't feel like I was let down for a moment in this episode. It just kept hitting me with a good scene after another good scene. There wasn't one that I can pick up, that I can think right off the top of my head where I was like, I kind of lost it in this scene. No, it was every one kind of kept me going to the next one. And maybe it was having Ragnar back. Just like right once you heard that voice and you pull in there and seeing Ragnar there, it was like, oh fuck. Okay, we're back to Vikings here for a second. And maybe I can play Charlie Ragnar's balls here all I want. Hey, I'm Charlie Ragnar's balls. Let me lick them. And I'm gonna do that a lot tonight because he was in the episode and I felt it. But I thought I thought the tone was set just in general in the episode, and having him on was more Jimmy's on top. I think even if he wasn't in the episode, I would still probably come out here and say it was a really good episode. It's having that little added on scene, and mileage will vary. Some people will like it more than others. It really kind of filled me with like, I don't know what that is. But I'm not alone tonight. Holy shit. I'm not alone. Of course I'm not alone. I'm never alone when I have with me the live motherfucking chat. Holy shit, the live motherfucking chat's here. Whoa, we got King McKay. Got to do a second watch through with dinner, but I'll catch you after Phil. King McKay in the live motherfucking chat. Great to see you. Good to see Tyrion made it to Winterfell, says Bernie. Wilson. Oh gosh, I want to do some bit with you, some recorded video someday with you, King McKay, where we parody Wilson on Floki Island or something. Oh my God, Centovia Major loved all the callbacks. We got Timo. We have Timo in the live motherfucking chat. It's always a better night when we have the lovely Miss Timo. And we got Centovia Major. We got Brian Dodd. We got Blue Steel, Big E, Jeffrey. We got Jeffrey in the motherfucking chat. Good evening to all of our good friends. K. Rich. Yeah, they were Major League flirting, both of the same king already. Oh, talking about the Judith and Lagatha scene. Oh, we'll get into that. Mrs. Ivar bought a ticket on the crazy train. Ends only one way. Oh, goodness. Well, lovely Miss Timo. Great to see you. Loved all the Ragnar, even the Ivar pulling a son killing and getting back to that. And yeah, the end of the episode, Ivar killing his son. They didn't. I liked the choice not to show what it was because it didn't really matter specifically what issue the kid had. It's just that Ivar's sticking to his word that what he said to Ragnar, I wish you let me go, and I wish you just put me out of my misery. And he's doing the same thing. It is going to be so fucking amazing. And pardon the silly, cheesy way of explaining this, but it is going to be so damn delicious next week, seeing how this all plays out. We got a taste of it in the previews for next week, and if people skip previews for next week, I'm sorry here for a second. We do see at one point Ivar being like, is this even really my kid? Listen, is this even really my kid? No, yeah, fuck you. This shit's gonna go down crazy, and I'm gonna love it. I'm gonna love every second of this shit. Oh gosh. Was the baby a girl? How did he know she lied? Epic show. I don't know if he knows she lied. We'll have to wait till next week to see how that all goes. I think it's probably his brain starts working after the fact with rationalizing what he did. So he starts explaining, wait a minute, I can't get a girl pregnant. Somehow he's not that stupid. It's going to get to him eventually. Hey, we got the lovely King McKay. The lovely King McKay. What's up, Jay? What's up, Blue Steel? Good to see all of our people. Do we have Tom in the live motherfucking chat? We got Living My Wrath, LMR in my live motherfucking chat. Great to see you. Great to see all of you folks. I see Fury, my best friend. Oh, my best friend. That just makes me think of Chucky for some reason. Every time I read your name in the live chat, my best friend, I think of Chucky's smiley face looking at me. I'm going to be your best friend. We got Tom himself. I didn't see your name in there. Tom himself. The beautiful Tom himself is in the live motherfucking chat. So it's great to have all of you guys in to talk about a really good episode of Vikings. Ivar burning folks. I mean, in an episode where it ends up with Ivar killing his own baby or leaving his baby to die, essentially. I mean, maybe it will be raised by wolves like Howie Mandel in the movie Walk Like a Man, but I don't think that's really realistic. So most likely Ivar's kid's going to die. And he also burned Hvitserk's girlfriend. That whole scene, that whole back and forth scene that we got, and I'm going to get into the recap here in a second just to kind of jump on in. But the whole back and forth with Hvitserk talking to Olaf the Buddha, and striking back to when Ivar's finding his shrine cut in half, and he's throw him up against the wall and bring all the people out to burn, and then watching her, which small part with that actress, but even in this small part in this episode that could have been kind of like a throwaway, way over the top, she played that really well. Almost way better than the Iceland characters played it in the last episode, watching their family die, something that was built up over a season and a half. Hvitserk's girlfriend, she really, like, you could feel it when she was watching all of that happen, and the music was just excellently synced up to what was going on in the action of the episode. I mean, this is one of those things where in some episodes of Vikings this season, just to not be too redundant, I've tried to pull shit out and be like, I liked the way Floki's beard looked in Iceland. Yeah, it looked great. But this is one of those episodes where I'm really excited about this episode. I had a lot of fucking fun. People are like, yeah, stop licking Ragnar's television testicles. I don't care. I'm licking Ragnar's television testicles. Maybe it was him. Goofy, do you think it was him? I don't know, Phil. I think you're crazy. Maybe I am crazy. But it doesn't fucking matter. It's still a great episode of Vikings. Fuck all. Oh my goodness. LMR. He lost his son, his brother. It looks like he will lose his wife. He's fucked. Where the fuck is Phil? Hi, Phil. Hi, wonderful bug. I agree. Timo. Great to see we got Jay in the live chat. So many awesome folks in the live chat tonight. Count Olaf. Yeah, we got Count Odo in the live chat. Hvitserk must have known that Thor was going to die. I think he assumed at that point. What I wonder is why he didn't bring her with him if he had any opportunity to. I guess probably, I don't know, maybe Ivar wouldn't have let him in that situation, but maybe I would have, if I was in his situation, I would have maybe tried to bring her with me, but assuming that Ivar would do something like this. But I don't even know if she's the one that destroyed the shrine. If it was said in this episode that it was actually her, then I might have missed this. But either way, I think Ivar was looking for an excuse, and anyone that seeds anyone who has any seeds of discontent, seeding that shit. I'm sorry, I'm getting a weird visual with seeds of discontent. I don't know. Yeah, you can use your imagination, dirty-minded people. It almost makes sense what Ivar did. And now you got to figure that Hvitserk knew that was going to be her fate. It's too bad. Timo says, dictator Ivar, baby killing Ivar, murdering Ivar, love him so Joe can fuck off. Ivar is the best. Joe can fuck off. Ivar is the best. I mean, I think you speak for some people that are celebrating Joe's retirement from the Vikings podcast, but it's going to be a fun. This is one of those episodes that it makes me more hopeful than I was at other times during this season for next 20 episodes. And these final 2 episodes, I have a good feeling that they're going to end strong here. And they seem to be going on a really cool trajectory. And is everything perfect around the edges? No, but I want Vikings to be fun and to be an experience when I'm watching it. And to use the fact that there isn't any main star to bounce the story around in a way that you don't feel like you're missing out on anything. And I feel the balance that they figured out isn't in the writing, isn't in some of the story directions, which you can still question at times this season. It's in the way that they're editing these episodes together. And of course, the production values and the acting is still top notch, even if the writing doesn't always support some of the acting choices this whole season, not necessarily this episode. I think this episode's an example of everything working in a perfect way. But I think what the strength that's been picking up in this back half of the season, even in moments where shit's been a little weird, like when the bishop, where I didn't necessarily love Bishop Batman killing the other bishop in the sense of the way that episode was structured. I didn't love it, but it was edited really well. And some other moments in this season, especially in these final 4 episodes now, has just been edited really freaking tight. Tight as a baby's bottom that Ivar kills. It's just I've been enjoying the way the season's going, and it's a shame, not Joe I'm talking about, that if some people have dropped out, and I think some people that maybe have dropped out are going to have a fun experience later when they get to binge watch 40 episodes of Vikings that people left after Ragnar when they're separated from it and can enjoy it for what it is, which isn't the same show it was in the Ragnar show. It's a different show with a different feel that's kind of just, it seems, and yeah, again, I'm licking Ragnar's testicles tonight. It seems like it's finally figuring out what it wants to do, the correct balance. And this lead up to everyone fucking hating Ivar, the fact that the show celebrates the hate for Ivar's personality, it makes him, to me, a very effective character and fun to watch on screen. I know some people don't feel him, think he's too over the top, too cocky-locky, too something. I get you. When character plays that kind of over the top, you're either going to buy in or you're going to think it's the most annoying thing in the universe. I bought in, and it's paying off. When you have some scenes like him when delivered in this episode when he's killing his kid, and how he, and just if you think about the way he mind fucks everything and the way he wraps his sick, twisted mind around things to make himself the victim in everything. As he's burning people, as he's killing his own kid, he's sitting there making himself the victim. And to my take, when he plays the softer stuff, he's even more effective than the screamy shit. He does really well. But sometimes that's when he's eating scenery and you can roll your eyes at him a little bit. But when he does some of the laid back, more internal, self-introspective shit, I think he pulls that off pretty damn well, because Vikings does that particularly well. When they get all dreamy, sequency, they put a weird filter on the camera to make it seem all trippy, like I just took mushrooms, and yeah, I know what that feels like. And I'm like, whoa, shit! Vikings just turned on the mushroom button on the computer. Yeah, I like this. Let's turn the mushroom button back on. Phil, that sounded so bad. Oh, yes. Ragnar's speech was the best moments of season 5. It really was. Seeing Ragnar back and seeing his speech and seeing that whole moment again, it just was so effective and really worked. Was this a perfect episode? No, but Ragnar was in it. And I know, looking back at this moment, I am using Ragnar for my way of saying, yes, this is Vikings is back tonight. You know, it's great. It's freaking amazing. This is a great episode. But I don't care. I don't care. I'm taking it. I'm taking one. Ragnar. Fucking Ragnar. What is up? It was the best episode of the season for sure, says Bernie. Even Bernie said it was a great episode, and she's here mainly for the fun of the live motherfucking chat and to shit on Vikings and to chew bubblegum. And she's almost out of bubblegum, and this was a good episode. So she's here just to fucking enjoy you guys in the live motherfucking chat. And amazing. But no, I think even the people that aren't feeling this season of Vikings, a couple of these season show episodes in this back half, it's hard to dispute it's just a fun episode. And this is one of those episodes that was just fun to watch. It didn't drag. It was snappy. There wasn't a lot of eye rolling kind of moments in it at all. Even if you aren't bought into the season, it was just a fun watch. And Ragnar, I know I sound so bad. I do. Antoine Thomas, and shout out to Linall. Shout out to Linall. I love his intensity, even more intense than the Bishop. And he figures it out, though. He figures it out in a really interesting way. But he has those sad puppy dog eyes that makes Timo want to save him and put him in the basement and tie him up and have him for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Did he leave his baby in a fairy hill, though? That kid will be back next season. Yes, that kid's gonna be the next Magnus. He's gonna come back. He's gonna come back and be like, I was just gonna spoil a really good movie. I was just gonna spoil a really good movie with one line. I almost want to do a series of videos. Timestamp. Send myself a message. No. Do a series of videos where you're talking about spoiling or a contest, like how quickly can you spoil something with one line or one word. I was gonna spoil an Al Pacino movie, whatever. I was gonna spoil the movie Carlito's Way, but it's, how old is a movie when I can just like say what happens? I was gonna do it with one fucking line. Phil, I asked you a question in the email. I will check my email in a second when I get to questions and stuff. Antoine Thomas. We got Jay. Seeing Ragnar makes me wonder if we'll see a Ned flashback of Game of Thrones. I would not doubt that. I would not doubt anything in this final season of Game of Thrones with characters coming back. And maybe even if you want to take even more meaning of hearing some of the voices in that thing, you may I don't know. I'm gonna talk easy because I know Jay doesn't want to know anything. Jay in the live chat, he's like, "Shut up, Phil. Shut up, Phil." So I'm not gonna say anything. I meant text. Okay, cool. I will check the text and voicemail. And speaking of that, as Antoine Thomas said, please, if anyone has any comments or questions they want to get in and I miss it in the live chat, you can call in or leave a text message at 781-990-8509. Again, that's 781-990-8509. 8509. You can do that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So if you're listening to this at any point in time and you wanna ask a question about Vikings season 5 episode 18, and it is like 2 or 3 years from the time it airs, I highly suggest you leave a voicemail. Talking to future person that may check this video out randomly or this podcast out at some point. If you're thinking, wow, that Ragnar speech, seeing Ragnar back on my screen really, really got my snuff all up in my uppagus. It was, I'm no big city lawyer, but that kind of got me. That got my pants in a titillated. Yes. I'm gonna turn into Foghorn Leghorn in a second here. What I don't know. I gotta practice. Phil, I gotta practice my Davos. Things are coming very fast. I'm no big city lawyer, but I know that you know that I know it's time for the recap. Oh my goodness. I totally bashed the fuck out of my knee, dancing around like an idiot. See, serves me right. Serves my fucking ass right. I love you, best friend. There's a bunch of old shows I haven't seen yet. I ain't obligated to stay up to date with even TV shows or movies that come out. Just saying. I missed the Big City Lawyer. Oh, sorry, headphone wearers for the music. I apologize. Now listen, I'm no big city lawyer, Santovia Major, but it's going to be a long season for Davos. Okay, so whether Floki finds in the cave, it better be big. Iceland as a whole is a time clock. Floki just seems like a lost as Odinism is almost over, of that time period is almost over for him. Let's continue. Let me go up into the voicemails in text right here, and we say, let's check this. Oh wow, great art there, my friend. Holy shit. Holy Christ. Great stuff. Great stuff. Here we go. Christianity and Buddhism on the rise as Floki is witnessing a decline in Norse paganism. Here we go. Always dropping the knowledge from Antoine Thomas in the live chat. Sorry, I'm recovering from my horn is being squished in my pants here. I gotta get my other horn to be erect again before I start the podcast, before I start the recap. There we go. That looks much better, doesn't it? Oh my goodness. Okay, so let's start the recap by listening to some recap. Yep, let's get some back in here. Oh no, it's not the music back. Let's listen to some Vikings. So our episode opens up in the ice and the snow, and it's a party in the inn at the crossroads for many reasons. There's drinking, hot pies there, delivering tasty treats. We got Antoine Thomas sitting with a girl with no name, having a hot pie, and Hvitserk busts in there and And he arrives, and they insult him. Hvitserk's frozen, and he will be introduced to King Olaf. Let's listen.
My name is Hvitserk, son of Ragnar Lothbrok. Come to see King Olaf. We're meant to be.
Oh yeah, the audio's all fucked up. Okay, this is my first attempt with the new setup to capture the audio, and it sounds like dog shit. I have to do a couple of tests.
I'm dying of cold.
It's like all staticky, right? Or is it just me?
Is this the hospitality of a friend? An ally?
You arrive here unexpectedly, and the first thing you do is insult me.
Yes. Forgive me.
My horn. Oh, I totally destroyed my horn.
Thank you.
Does anyone remember laughter, Tom? Hey, no stairway. Stairway denied. I know, I had to fix my horn. I'm sorry. I honestly, as horrible as that sounds, I had to stop and pause and fix my horn. This podcast couldn't last. So I don't know how bad that audio was for you guys, but was it good for you? Or was it bad for me? So then we cut to a beautiful shield dance as Bjorn is married. It is such a beautiful shield dance. The centerpieces at this wedding were to die for. I gotta get the number of the wedding planner. It was a fucking beautiful Viking wedding. I know I've destroyed that new audio recording device, a 1953 photograph. It does kind of sound like we're listening to old-timey records of Vikings. Hey, everybody, let's go to old time away. Hee hee. Listen to Vikings on the old phonograph. Dinklage stunt double is like, whip out that dong. Hashtag fix the horn. Yes, if you listened, that'll be our hashtag for tonight's episode. Fix the fucking horn, Phil. Good. It's fixed now. Hopefully no more jumping around like a silly person. No promises. Fix that horn. So we get the beautiful shield dance. It really is. And Bjorn goes in for some. They kiss. It's slow motion. There's silence. Fine hair looks on. He's not happy. He's as Bjorn goes in for some tongue, and then he imagines himself. Then see, this episode recap's gonna be a little weird because a lot of this stuff that I'm describing are weird. There's stuff that while I was watching, it's not the easiest stuff to take notes on because it's all over the place, and there were some cuts and weird dream moments, and from a watching standpoint, it's really effective. But if I'm trying to take notes, sometimes it just comes out as blubbity blue. So bear with me. Well, you always bear with me, but roar. Roar with me here. So we cut to beautiful shots of the shield dance as Bjorn's married, and then Fine Air looks on in slow motion. He imagines himself with her making out and making her explode on the dance floor. It was a really seductive, weird, awkward, awesome. I was oddly uncomfortable and turned on at the same time, which is usually how it works for me. But that's too much information. But whatever. It was an effective scene. It was definitely an effective scene. And now I'm erect. Perfect. I'm double. I've got both my my dual penises. This is like the female equivalent of that Total Recall girl with the 3 boobies. I have a double. I'm double Chota boy here. Grunhilder, what's her name? I don't like her either. Where's Joe Dirty Locks? Joe Dirt is retired from the Vikings podcast. He will be back for Game of Thrones and Walking Dead and many other shows. So, it's fun watching the chat because I know I'm on somewhat of a tape delay. So, tape delay. I'm like back in the 1940s. We got a tape delay here in the 1960s on our Brady Bunch Variety Hour. So then we cut to then we're back to reality as Harold greets Bjorn's wife and says, "Listen, I thought you wanted to be the queen of thought you wanted to be the queen of Norway, huh? So why'd you pick the Bjorns?" And she says, "Well, dumbass, I didn't say who I wanted to be my fucking king. I just, I did eeny, meeny, miny, moe. I picked the dude that's gonna win. Fine hair, fine my ass, Harold." And Harold goes, okay. Okay. I love Harold. It's so interesting the way they built his character, and hearing when Bjorn calls him out in this episode about not being Ragnar. You're not Ragnar. You suck. You're like a loser. Deal with being a secondhand character, because that's what you are. So Joe Dirty Locks bitched up because Judith got him fired. Judith got him fired. Why am I so ugly? Brian Dodd, you're beautiful. You're beautiful. The dynamic is just so cray-cray. Bjorn playing his game, and I don't like Gunhild. There's something off. I liked her more when we first were introduced to her. I feel like they're getting a little confused with what to do with her character and which direction to put it. So it's coming out as being a conflicting character at times, if that makes sense. And I think they just need to kind of pick a direction and go with of what kind of person, what kind of character she is, because a lot of it is completely. She'll be one person in one scene and a completely different person in other scenes, but it hasn't been set up that she's a manipulator and she's doing that consciously or something like that. So I just want to know more about her if they're going to set her up as a Judith, or who I think has earned the right to where she is at this point in the character arc, or even someone like Floki, even, for instance, where they've built him and his storyline, and other characters where you can have someone make certain decisions and be a certain kind of character all over the place, their mind scattering from one side to another side, if it all makes sense with the way it was all led up. And with her, I think it's too quick, too soon. Holy shit. We got Timo, the lovely Miss Timo, with a super chat donation. Thank you so much, Timo. Oh my goodness, I cannot say enough thanks to you, Miss Timo, for this super chat donation. Look, Timo.
It's Timo's Rip Tonight. It's Timo's Rip Tonight. Fuck Sansa. Fuck Sansa. Fuck Sansa. It's Timo's Rip Tonight. 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 It's Rip Tonight. Go Ramsey. Go Ramsey. Go Ramsey. Snow. Go Ramsey.
First one landed on Phil drink. Second one landed on Joe drink. So I drank again. And the third one, because Timo gets 3 spins of the wheel, it will land on Phil drink. So we got 2 me drinks, 1 Joe drink. And I'll take sips of this fucking wine. Oh my goodness. Woo! Oh, right to my head. Woo. Phil, that needs to be King Harold's voice all the time from now on. I hope. But Davey, okay, I'm King Harold. I will take it, Bjorn. I will take it. But anyways, oh my God, you should have heard me go off on the Game of Thrones teaser. Oh yes, Timo, if you want to. I can't wait to get back in some Game of Thrones action, and I can't wait to hear that. I was going to say call and leave a voicemail. I'll play it at the end of this show. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. But anyways, let's continue. I know I have to drink. I just drank. I was not. I see. I had that drink sitting up there, and I wasn't sipping on it yet. So I tripled the drink. Triple that drink, and now I'm silly already. Okay. So then we go back to reality as Harold greets Bjorn's wife, and she says, I thought you wanted to be king of Norway, blah, blah, blah. I picked Bjorn. Then Magnus comes out. He's, oh, hey, what's going on? What's going on? Hey, guys. Oh, my God. Oh, God. Hi, Magnus. Hey, touch me. Oh, you look good. Oh, how's it going, King Harold? You're fine, King Harold. I'm Ragnar's son. And Harold's like, oh, okay. You're Ragnar's son. Okay. It's just a fun dynamic. It's like Magnus is all over the place. Bjorn, I love you, Bjorn. You're the best. And Harold's like, okay. Harold needs some counseling with Jorah a moment. Timo, I think I did hear you. Let's see. Oh, what? I'll have to watch the video or whatever that's on that has the Timo rant on it. Oh, no worries. Your best friend. You are my best friend. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate that for being in here tonight and popping on in. Have a good evening. You got a hoe? Maybe that's where I don't want to besmirch anyone's business choices. So Magnus is back and drunk, talking shit, and King finally is like, get the fuck away from me. And he sleeks over to Bjorn and wishes him congrats, but says, I want her, but you won, and because you're Ragnar's son. And Bjorn calls him out, and Bjorn's like, you know what, asshole? You know what, Mean Gene Oakland? I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you this. You know what I fucked up tonight? Instead of recording the audios in little clips like I usually did, I had to record it on a different television. I know it's too much fucking information. I wanted to hear this shit. So I just recorded the whole episode as in one block. So the audio is fucking useless to me tonight. Because what the fuck am I listening to here? Okay, this is the audio that I just synced up. You know, this is audio from, I'm assuming this is Iceland. I think I hear some wind. You guys hear some winds? I think there's some wind going on here. Oh my goodness. I love what's going on in the live chat right now. Have a good night, your best friend. You're my best friend. Okay. Sorry, I don't want to destroy Queen right there. I'm not I'll stay within my range vocally. Okay, so Fine Hair and Bjorn talk, and Bjorn just calls him out. He's just like, no. You know why? You know why you won't get the girl? You know why you'll never be the king of all Norway, douche? Because you're a second-rate character. You're a mid-carder, and I'm fucking Andre the fucking Giant, asshole. You get what I'm saying here? You're freaking Leaping Lanny Poffo, and I'm Andre the fucking Giant. You know, like, you might not know what I mean, but get the point. You're oh, I got it right here. You're Beverly Crusher, and I'm Weird Al Yankovic. I wish this was Deanna. You're Deanna Troy, and I'm Weird Al Yankovic. Let's just say that, okay? Whatever. I wish I had Data and Deanna. That would be better. You're Goofy, and you're like Mike and Ike, or whatever those little two rats were in Hanna-Barbera. You know what I mean. You get the point. Fine Hair, you're nothing. You're piddly poop. And the gods love me and love my family. They hate your stupid ass and your stupid ass family. That's why your brother's dead, because you killed him, because the gods hate you. Fuck you. And Fine Hair talks more, and Bjorn says, listen, can we just cut this shit and you can suck up to my ass because the gods love me and stuff, and you can just be a loser, but you can come with me to kill Ivar, and if I die, you can totally have my wife and Kattegat. Come on, dude, it's a great deal for you. Great fucking deal, dude. I gotta take one more drink for Timo, just for the hell of it. Yeah, that one was for Timo, of course, not for myself. Bjorn pulled a rock level slam on Harold. It doesn't matter what your name is. Do you smell what the Bjorn is cooking? Yeah, I mean, totally, absolutely. It was a great moment where I love how I don't want to use such like ridiculous terms to describe this, but it's essentially he's just punking him. He's just doing like that Dave Chappelle and Wayne Brady skit when he's like, I got you a sandwich, Dave. Dave, you eating that sandwich? Give me that sandwich. He's Deboing him. He's like, fuck you. I'm Debo. Give me your shit. I thought Harold was going to cry. Maybe. There was times where it looked like he was going to cry. He's a man of deep heart, and Bjorn's playing into it. I love how Bjorn, with all the Klingon pride and shit, is really like playing into the fact that he knows he's a Moshi there. You know, that Fine Hair's got some emotion, and that his loves hold him back, essentially. I thought Harold was crying the poor thing. Oh, what was he was saying more that because you're Ragnar's, because you're famous and you have a natural spark. You have that natural spark to, or have the balance of the money you've made from all your conquering, that you were just a better self for her, and that's the only reason she's with you. It's not because you're a better man for her. Bjorn pulled a bitch, please. LMR, thank you as always for popping in the live chat. You are awesome. Thank you so much. Have a great night. And essentially my ass, you got to say, ultimately remember that I'm sorry, Tom. You shouldn't have called me out on it. Now I'm too aware of it. Listen, ultimately, Tom, I'm going to say it a bunch of times in the episode. And sometimes the drunker I get and the sillier I get, ultimately, I'm just going to like keep ultimately saying it. And then I'm going to talk about the ultimately warrior. Sorry. Yo, that chick's hubby died like 7 days ago. Harold dodged a bullet, says Paul Q. Floki must have found a Pizza Hut, Taco Bell, or KFC in that cave. He has fried chicken potato wedges, waffle syrups, and a Colt fucking 45. I love having you in the chat, Antoine Thomas. You're the best, buddy. Well, Timo gets to it. And I almost thought that's what Bjorn was implying to at a certain point in time. Like, I'm just hotter. Did you see them? Was he in the... What movie series was he in the Hunger Games or was he in the Maze Runner series? I know I'm comparing apples with like shitty rotten apples, but I can't remember which series he was in. Oh my goodness. Did you see that? I thought it was super hot. Okay, so very true. Let's continue here. Hvitserk is... Oh yeah, I forgot to mention in the scene when Hitz comes to the gates, or it comes to the bar there, or the tavern. They tell him if they're going to take him to see Olaf, but they'll only take him to see Olaf if he strips naked, or you're going to have to strip naked. So then we're treated in the next scene to Hvitserk being naked through the ice and snow and seeing some Hvitserk butt and an owl, and then he gets sent into a steam room. I mean, it's super steamy. This steam room, I loved it. It was hot to trot. I wanted in this steam room. I don't know how everyone feels about steam room sauna type situations. There are some people who really hate them. Some people don't. Love to hear you in the live chat because it's really important to this episode of Vikings. But let me know. Are you a steam room people? Is this something we should do in the future? Like when we finally do have a whole big, and I mean, we kind of did have some get-togethers here and there as I've had the luck to meet some of you live motherfucking chatters here and there. But if we ever do have a big gathering at some point, should I have it in a steam room? Should we all get in a steam room together? Or is that gonna, some people are gonna be out on that one? I'm just curious. Let's get a show of hands for the steam room situation. But it's super fucking steamy. And then we get Olaf. This is where we get into a slight sliver of some comedy. And it's not that this shit was without weight to it, and Hvitserk's torture was without weight, but it all made sense. What I think Olaf was dealing with in the situation is he already had his doubts and was into the idea from the beginning of fucking over Ivar, but needed to make sure that Hvitserk wasn't just a spy and wasn't just giving Ivar an excuse. He's obviously heard the word of Ivar's rule has gone all throughout, and everyone kind of is going to take their chance in him eventually at some point in time, or at least or have the urge to do that, but not do it because they don't have one of Ragnar's kids behind it too. But having one of Ragnar's kids behind it would be an attractive thing. But you got to make sure he's on the level and he's not just bullshitting you. So this whole scene and this whole thing made sense, but it was done in a really sort of dark, sardonic kind of way that I was loving through the whole time, right from the beginning, with the way Hvitserk's focusing on the big belly and being like, "I know who you are. You're a liar. You're the Buddha." And the laugh. The guy just gives a big laugh. And at times there was even moments in it where I suspected it was all just a vision. And then you got Tyrion Lannister's stunt double there. I don't know if that's really true, as someone said in the live chat. He definitely has some similarities to the appearance of Tyrion Lannister. This character did. It wouldn't be far for this actor to look like Tyrion just from his the color of his hair and some of his basic just even look. He kind of looks like Peter Dinklage in some ways. Poor Hvitserk is going to get sick from freezing cold to crazy hot. I love how I tried using horns once, but it didn't feel right, says Jason Voorhees. You don't want Jason to sneak up to you in the cold. I thought it was a funny line later in the episode when Hvitserk says something along the lines of, it would really suck, or it's really awkward or really weird to die in a really cold place, in a really cold location of the world in a really hot place. This is really ironic. Oh, we got a hands up for Steam Room. Bjorn's just playing hotter. Sorry, Fine Air, says Mingy. I don't think Gunchild is that hot, says Paul Q. Boobies, says Tom himself. Do they still show Vikings? Do they still show the boobies in Vikings, or got 2 PC like Game of Thrones did? They still show that stuff in the Vikings international versions, I believe, but not in the US version. They've never shown that in the US version of Vikings. Bjorn gave Harold a handful of Woof tickets. Oh, it was the Hunger Games. Thank you. Floki is eating with the hound, looking at the BT music video, says Edward Thomas, and eating. Floki is completely effed up because of the black metal. Vikings metal is gone. Everyone is left Scandinavia. Jason Voorhees, steam room. I'm in, although I've never needed an excuse to take my clothes off. Huge ding dong says nice hat. Awesome name, and thank you. I've got two huge ding now, but thank you for the appreciation of the hat. It's one of those random hats that I'm so glad that I was given as a gift because it's got a lot of wear on. It's got a lot of wear and a lot of fun on these Vikings podcasts. So again, thank you to Papa Bear Larry if he's ever listening to this. So here we go. So Hvitserk says, I'm another son. It's a sign of respect. He goes, this is all an illusion. And the Buddha stares at his belly. So then we get Ivar running around in his chariot as someone fucked with his toys, his shrine, cut it right in half. Ivar is pissed. We come back in and Ivar is still pissed, dragging people out of their houses one by one. Hvitserk's girl's there. She's brought to Ivar. He calmly, and this is when Ivar's the scariest, when he starts getting all calm with you. He calmly says, listen. Listen, yes, I'm so hated. Everyone hates me. I've started turning Ivar into Yakov Smirnov. In communist Russia, Ivar is good leader. No, he says Ragnar's time, everyone was free. Okay, so then she gets in this whole thing with Ivar, and she does not hold her tongue with Ivar. She says in Ragnar's time, everyone was free. They could do what they wanted. Above all, they were never forced to worship him. And best of all, Ragnar didn't think he was a god. He wasn't an idiot, delusional fuck like you. He thought he was human, just like the rest of us. Ivar tells her to go. He remembers her father. Her father was loyal. He's a good man. He touches her cheek. And he says, get the fuck out. And for a moment, you think maybe Ivar is a good guy. Maybe he has different gears. Maybe he's layered. Maybe he can care about someone. Maybe he doesn't want to hurt his brother's girl. No, I don't think anyone thought for a fucking shit. Whoa, camera, focus. Focus, damn you. There you go. I don't think for a shit second, for a minuscule moment of Sonic the Hedgehog fart second, did anyone believe that Ivar was letting this person live? Nope. Zippity doodah, zippity yay. Phil, have I seen Rollo lately? I was going to say Rolos. I got some Rolos the other day, and they're a deliciously underrated candy. Of all the candies, they're the best frozen candy. Of the main brands of candy. I'm not talking about mom and pop candy shop where the chocolate kills it as good chocolate, bad chocolate. No, I'm talking about of the main brands of the candy shits, of regular chocolates, whatever. There's something specifically awesome about a frozen Rolo. I can't quite put my tongue on it. I like frozen. I like to freeze most chocolate. I like it both frozen and not frozen. But there's something significantly tastier to me about Rolos when they're frozen. I don't even like non-frozen Rolos. I don't even like non-frozen Rolos. Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, not for one fucking minute. Hey guys. Ivar's like a totally good guy. I could change him. I could totally change Ivar. Come on, guys. You're totally sleeping on Ivar. He's a good guy. He's just misunderstood. Come on. He's an all right dude. Come on, leave Ivar alone. He loves deep. That's what Ivar loves deep. Ultimately, did Phil spin the wheel for Timo? I spaced out for a second. I did, but I'm going to give Timo one more spin of the wheel because of her amazing, generous super chat donation. She deserves one more spin of the wheel. And it lands on everybody drink. Oh my goodness. It lands on everybody drink. So wherever you are, whatever you're doing, hold up your drink. That's right. Hold up your drink and toast it to the lovely Miss Timo and thank her for her amazing super chat donation. Thank you to Timo. Okay. So frozen Snickers says Blue Steel. I mean, I can't argue with you. Frozen Milky Way is significantly amazing as well. I guess all I mean is most of the other ones I like either way, whereas Rolo's I really want to do a candy podcast. I was thinking about this the other day because I did some research about how old certain candies were and finding out like old flavors and shit. But anyways, Rolo's, for whatever reason, I don't like them not frozen. I only like them frozen. Okay. Timo, we aren't going to argue. Okay. We aren't going to argue with him and risk him being burned alive. Phil, you drinking vodka tonight? No, I'm drinking wine tonight because it's the only alcohol in my house right now, other than really weird, strange mixed drinks behind my bar. I want to see an Ivar Floki reunion. I want to see Floki return to the crew. Would be awesome. I don't think it's likely. I fear this is Floki's last stop, but I don't know. I would love to see Floki return to the fold, and I'm fine with Floki being on the show until the very end. Ooh, as the wine hit my head. Excuse me. Woo, zippity doo dah. I might have to sneak back upstairs for some more in a second. Some more. Oh, let's change to this camera so I can see the live motherfucking chat better. So we go to Olaf, who is eager to fight with Ivar, and he asks, what kind of man is Ivar? Now, Hvitserk's walking out, and all the men watch. Oh, Hvitserk's girl's walking out. Okay, this is where we get that parallel scene that I already mentioned before. We get two things happening at once, back and forth, and this is really cool. A lot of shows do this. Vikings tends to have these big moments sometimes happen here, especially this season. This seems to be a trait of this Vikings season or this half a season of Vikings, where you'll have some action going on while another character's talking. It happens with the bishop at times too, and it's happened with some Alfred stuff. I can't think of exact moments, but I remember. I just have a memory of it. And if I'm making it up, fuck it. 2 tears in a bucket. Fuck it, I said it. So it's a cool little tactic, and I love the back and forth thing that they're doing because it amps up both scenes that you're seeing. There's not much else to say about this. We hear Hvitserk telling Olaf the Buddha King. I just keep wanting to add different names to him. The Buddha King, awesome dude, whatever. That Ivar is a crazy person, and Ivar can't be trusted. He's horrible. Like we gotta take back. We gotta overthrow Ivar and take Kattegat. And at the same time, we're seeing Hvitserk's girl be dragged and being forced to watch her family burn, and then she's burned, then finally doused in the gas or whatever. Or it's not gasoline, whatever they're burning her with, and burning her and all of that shit, and watching her, and the way that was done. I mentioned this earlier, but the way it was done, how slow in an episode that was edited pretty fast, they really, put on the brakes to get inside her mind and watch this girl burn. I don't know if they were just really proud of the actor's performance and they wanted to feature her more on the episode, so they edited it a little longer than it necessarily had to be. But either way, I enjoyed that they did that. Whether that's the reason or not, or was always slated for that. I mentioned this earlier too, but this actress, very bit part. She came on late this season, didn't have much to do, but I have to fucking give her a huge for in our this is going to be a great thing for you. A Shut the Fuck Up a Joe award tonight.
Shut the fuck up.
That's Joe. Right. We give this Shut the Fuck Up. The Shut the Fuck Up a Joe award is given to the best moment in a small part in the episode. That's right. Best moment in a small part of the episode. Now, I just wanted to tell Joe to shut the fuck up. That moment, or having her watching her burn, which could have been just a forgotten about section, was really ultimately, sorry Tom, ultimately it was exceptionally effective, and it got you got you inside her being burned. And I just thought it was done really well. I've seen some other shows that have tried things like that weren't quite as effective. And part of it was the actress's performance. Maybe if I watched it again, I'd be like, oh, actress was really over the top. I shouldn't have said that. But for whatever it was worth in the moment, I was like, wow, holy shit, this is horrible. And I could see it in her face, and it was played really well. Not with words, not with screams. They was all done with music. You didn't hear a sound after a certain point in time of her burning. You just saw it on her face, and great performance. Someone says probably whale oil. This episode was sad, bro. It was sad at times. But it was also fun at times too, Brian. Especially when we got into Ragnar's point, especially when we got into some of the Hvitserk stuff with the torture, knowing what's going to be the ultimate, does that count, Tom? Ultimate outcome of everything. Where I think it was just a test and he was never in any real danger. He was just being fucked with a little bit and put through his paces. So I do think there was moments of humor in this episode, but I think for the most part, it was an intense episode that had a lot of down to it. And I don't mean down as in the episode bored me in any way or made me feel low, but it was heavy, dark shit going on. Even seeing Ragnar again, which was the best part of the episode. We'll get to this in a bit. For me, just because Ragnar was in it, and I lick Ragnar's television testicles. It was still one of the saddest parts to see again. Oh, where we get some Joe Dirty Locks here. Oh yeah, there we go. This episode was sad, bro. Acting was amazing. Joe is sexy. Glory of the snow. I was gonna say show, but I corrected myself halfway and I said snow. You know, everybody. You guys know what's happening. Yeah, Judith discovering Lagatha. That whole section when we got into the Judith, Lagatha, and the Ragnar section was probably some of my favorite elements of the episode.
My death comes without apology, and I welcome the Valkyries to summon me home. Deliver me, O Lord, from mine enemies. Did I do see that? Oh my God, now.
Sorry, I just realized in the audio it was just synced up to exactly the Ragnar part. So even though it sounds like horse's shit right there, it's I'll at least play a second of that just so we can hear Ragnar's voice again. By the way, if you're going to do a show on candy, you've got to explain to your foreign viewers what they're like. Like Splenda, I had to look that up. No, and that's one of the things I definitely want to talk about. Not to mean to go on a quick aside here to candy. Yeah, I'm such a hippie, right? I'm talking about candy now while I'm taking a hippie activity break. I'm taking a technical difficulty break. The fact that even with certain brands of candy, there's only certain flavors in certain countries. And it doesn't just go with candy, with certain snacks. Like there's certain flavors of Doritos are only in certain locations. I remember a couple of the travel locations, you find like different brands. It's like a cheesy extra aspect of why I love to travel to. Even in different parts of a state, you get different kinds of Girl Scout cookies that are only available in certain parts of certain states. There's certain brands of foods or snack foods mainly that I liked when I was a kid that I thought went out of business or weren't available. And then when I went on one of our cross-country trips that we went on, I found them in random areas of the country. Like there was a kind of cheese popcorn called Okie Dokie cheese popcorn when I was a kid. It's the orange kind of cheese popcorn. It was one of those popcorn companies that when Smart Food was first introduced, before everyone realized it smelled like feet. And I still eat it sometimes. I still like Smart Food. I'm a cheese popcorn addict. It's one of my vices. I love cheese popcorn, all kinds of cheese popcorn. But anyways, Okie Dokie cheese popcorn was one of that like old orange, like, you know, or like really like 100% cholesterol every bite type of cheese popcorns. It was like really good though. Like for me, anyways, really tasty. You had a lot of those brains, which is my favorite kind of popcorn. When you get the big brains, I don't like the mini pieces. I know they have some kind of popcorn like the pipcorn, which is all the smaller pieces. I tend to like brains, the big pieces. So I thought the company went out of business because I didn't see it after when I was a kid around here. And then I was driving through, I forget where it was. It might have been like Iowa or something. And I stopped in a random convenience store. And of course, but they had fucking big bags of okie dokie cheese popcorn. And I bought it. And that shit, people say it's not the same as when you taste it when you're a kid. Bullshit. Taste is one of those things that nostalgia holds up. It's almost better than the nostalgia you build up in your mind because you forget how good certain things taste. And certain things with nostalgia, like how good a certain area is, or you went to a theme park when you were a kid, you go back when you were an adult, it's not quite as good or something. Whatever. You saw a movie once as a kid, you watch it again, and you're like, yeah, this isn't as good as I remembered it. Food, I will speculate that food is just the opposite. Food is one of those things, for me anyways, that is better than my memories of it. You have a memory of something being delicious, and then you go, okay, it's not going to be that good again. And then when you try it again, it's usually even better, especially for me, and brings back that nostalgic feeling because at least my brain forgets how good something tastes, and the nostalgia that builds around it isn't quite as good as what I have in the flavor. I mean, granted, that's probably mileage varies for different people, but for me anyways, a lot of food and smells too, which is connected to taste, are more fulfilling nostalgic wise than some other things like watching something or being in a place, like visiting a place again. Anyways, but you like popcorn cheese, Phil? I love some cheese popcorn, Robert. You want to give me like a Valentine's Day bouquet of cheese popcorn? I will eat it, baby. It's delicious. Talk about nostalgia. I'm still in love with Zooey Deschanel and Christian Bale from 10 years ago. Funny stuff, Tom himself. So let's get back to this episode of Vikings. I'm sorry for that aside. It happens here on the Issues program. So anyways, we go back. Olaf grabs Hits and his girl's burned, and it's a horrible back and forth. So we go back to Floki. He's burying the dead. He's like, dude, you didn't even dig your daughter's grave. And the Edge, who's in full heel mode right now. It's like, I didn't care about my daughter. I fucked someone and I had a kid. What's the fucking point of a kid anyway? Go. And Floki's like, dude, you suck. You fucking suck. And if I was my old self, I would kill your wife, murder your daughter in front of you, and then rape your son as you're holding on to life. But I won't do that. Floki gives him. I wish I had that audio. I need to get that audio, like good quality version of that audio, just so I can play that for any caller before I hang up on them or something. Like Floki's speech here to him. I'm paraphrasing it, but it's something along the lines. That's basically what it is. I'm gonna axe you so you don't quite die. I'd axe you so you didn't quite die and you were bleeding out. Then I'd kill your wife, murder your daughter, rip her in half or something, and then I'd rape your son. So your last dying thoughts are watching like, what am I gonna do with your son? But I won't do that because I can change, even though other people can't change. And screw you guys, I'm leaving. Sorry, I'm talking about food. I'm such a perv. No, you're not, Tom. I mean, you're a healthy young man with probably a good buzz on, as hopefully most people watching live with us do. Even if your buzz is life or your buzz is candy. Whoa. Hopefully watching us, you have a watching us. Yes, Phil, watching us. I'm no big city lawyer, Phil, but I think there's more than one person here. I think so too. I just finished House on Haunted Hill, Haunted House on a Hill, whatever. I'll talk about that a little bit at the end of this podcast, as a couple people asked me about that before, and I literally just finished it tonight before watching Vikings. So, I love you guys in the chat. So then we go off to a lab and a witch. We got Broomhilda the witch is working on Judith, and Judith is Judith must leave because the session's over, and Judith is basically getting it's. I mean, she's going to a doctor. I'm joking around. She's I'm not a witch. I'm your wife. And Judith is getting her realizing what happened in the end of the last episode. She found something, and she is facing her mortality here in this situation. So Judith sees a strange woman as they try to exit her out there, but the crazy woman that was not a crazy woman, it is actually Lagatha, and Lagatha looks all fucked up. Then she's brought back to Wessex, and we get another dreamy flash sequence, and this was done extremely well. I mean, all the Travis, Ragnar, television testicle stuff aside, I'm just imagining someone tuning in right at that moment right there, and I keep saying Travis testicle, Ragnar shit aside. We get this really cool, it's probably my favorite thing they've done with Lagatha in a long, long time, because I don't want to beat down a point that was already beat down before it even started. Bishop Batman and Lagatha's storyline was the most horrible, disgraceful way to pay any attention or care or understanding to Lagatha as a character and as a person. But her connection to Ragnar and playing off that and understanding that when she's reaching sort of this point, wanting to have more connection to that, makes a lot more sense on who she was and what she cared about. So I appreciated this whole sequence, and I did it save everything that they've done to kind of drag this character? Should this character already be dead, unfortunately? Yes, the character should have died in a battle right after she killed Astrid last season. Was that last season? Whenever that was, I thought that was a good point in time for that character to have died in that battle. But instead, they drag it on because they want to keep as many of the old original Vikings characters on as they can. So they keep her on and at times lose track of what was once an exceptionally awesome television character. They found her again in this episode. And that doesn't mean that everything I just said isn't true, that they can't take what is. They have a lot of great build up to this, so they can find moments, especially when they attribute them to other times in the character's life cycle that we give a shit about. And that's what they did tonight. They brought it back to connecting her to Ragnar's death and finally seeing how that affects her. And it should have been done sooner, and the character should already be done with, but I still loved it in this episode, and it was one of the best segments of this episode. Her running in the woods, she comes upon a cage, and I'm very curious in the live chat, or just as people are watching this or listening to this, feel free to call in and leave a voicemail, 781-990-8509. Or pop in the comment section if you're watching this video later. Like, at first, the discovery of it being Ragnar was it almost was immediate for me, and I'm curious if anyone was like, wait, because I had a wait. I know that voice. It's Ragnar? And I'm going to state the obvious, but I'm also asking it as a question. They just did some film tactics. They didn't get Travis to come in and perform that again. It wasn't a new performance. It was using old footage that they had, correct? Or someone correct me if I'm wrong, if they're like, no, Phil, don't be a dumbass, that was definitely new footage. Either way, having him back on the show in either fashion was exceptionally effective, and having Lagatha in the scene as well. I mean, it could have been a new scene because it seemed real organic with the fact of Lagatha being there, but that also could have been done very easily with modern filmmaking techniques, and it was just her being in the scene again. Let's continue. The dinner conversation with Alfred, Judith, and Lagatha was nicely done. It really was nicely done. I am nuts. I'm nuts. You think it will ever be explained how her hair got chopped? No, I don't think so. I think we got what we're gonna get, and we can't get upset. You get what you get, and you don't get upset. So Judas sees okay, so it was really well done. And So she's brought back to Wessex, and we get a dreamy flashback of her going through that. So then she suddenly snaps out of all of this, and we see Ragnar dying. He gives a great speech, and we see him fall into the pit again. And then we suddenly snap back into normal time with the queen asking where she's been. She looks around and she says, Egbert. So really effective stuff. Thought it was a really well done dream sequence. Followed it well. One of the best Lagatha moments we've had in a long time. Even though I'm, as hard as it is for me to say, and as much as I've loved this character, and at a point in time, if you go back to the Vikings podcast that Joe and I did when we started in those first few seasons that we were talking about Vikings, she was my favorite character. I loved all the characters, but I was singing her praises like crazy, and I still think she's a great actress and a good character, but I hope they kill her by the end of this season. I don't want to go into next season with having to deal with Lagatha stuff. Her story needs to have a conclusion. And I think it's going to with her and Judith. They're going to maybe Thelma and Louise themselves off this television show together in a cool way, in a cool, big, spectacular fashion. Have a fun way of leaving. So, where is Bjorn's kids? Who's taking care of them? I think the show cares as much about Bjorn's kids as he does. They give each other makeovers. I can't watch Ragnar die again. It's too hard, says Mingy. Bishop Batman was preaching to his gods. She ran past him. Then she was at the place of Ragnar's death, witnessing and being part of it. It was very powerful. Phil, I just noticed what that mug is doing on the screen. Oh, what's that mug doing on the screen? The mug on screen is anytime we're lucky enough to get a super chat donation, the mug will be filled with balls. That's true. We'll get a visual graphic of balls flying in the mug and filling the mug up. It's just a visual tip jar. Right now, you can see all that wonderful love from Timo. So every drop we get. So next time we get one, visually watch that. You'll see a little animation happen and some balls will drop in there. So no more Danny's wigs. No, they chopped her wig in half. They've got her doing something that actually looks a little bit more natural, a little bit. So. Okay, we're back in with Torvi. I thought you'd find that. I thought you'd like the balls, Tom. It's hot. It's hot, Tom. So we're back in with Torvi and Ubbe and the English army. And Ubbe's telling them, listen, the only way we survive here is if you listen to me. And if you go against me, you're going against the king because he put me in charge. Shut the fuck up. Take me to your three kings. And so Ubbe gets taken to a special screening of the George Clooney, Ice Cube, and Marky Mark movie Three Kings. So Ubbe goes to visit these three kings. So then we're back to Hvitserk now hanging upside down or hanging up, and Olaf asks him, will you join me and Ivar now and do this fighting stuff? And this is where we get the funny moment, one of the funnier moments in the episode, where Hvitserk takes the time to just go, hey, you know what? This would be kind of fucked up dying like this in the heat, where it's really, really cold out. This would be ironic. Don't you think? The irony. You get the irony here, Olaf? And he said, and Olaf has a line to him that he says, you would think by now you wouldn't anticipate how a king would react, because Hvitserk says, I thought you would support me. And I said this earlier, it is really freaking cool to see him do something and not just be a doormat character. He has an interesting gear as a character. He's a lot more screen palatable than a lot of other characters they have on the show. And to have him just be resigned to a comic relief character at times, for the most part, or a Smithers character at times, or just, the number two that's hanging out with the main focus character. It's really cool to finally give him a storyline. It's about freaking time. Oh my goodness. Yeah, they're back on. She's on to Viserys' wig. Very good point, Icy Fury. So Ubbe and Torvi are brought to the Viking camp, and it's cool to see another group of Vikings, the Danes, and to see Olaf's group as well. So Ubbe makes his way up, and they start cheering his name, Ubbe, Ubbe, Ubbe. And Torvi has a very fun line in the episode where she turns to him and goes, "See, you're famous. We have nothing to worry about. You're a famous asshole. Go fuck yourself, famous dude." So then we're off to some girl screaming, and it's Ivar's wife who's giving birth to little baby Ivar Jr. And I know Ivar Jr. has a name, but I never learned it. So I missed it. They said it a couple of times, but I missed it. So Ivar's wife's giving birth, and you see it all basically from Ivar's facial expression of seeing what's going on in this scene. Laughing and being happy and being scared, and the midwives look and they give the baby that kind of weird look. And at first I wasn't sure what to make of it. It didn't quickly pop into my mind what was about to happen in this scene, and something's not right. And they give the baby to Ivar, and Ivar just gets this ridiculously horrible look on his face. And his wife says, Freya says, deformity means it's in the god's favor. And the midwives give this look to Ivar, and Ivar gives this look. So then we go to Ubbe, and we'll deal with what the eventuality of that at the end of the episode. So then we go to Ubbe, who is welcomed, and his celebrity is welcomed. We see some cute puppies. We see the three kings that are just introduced, and they're just like, I'm King. Hi, I'm King Larry. I'm King Daryl. I'm King Other Brother Daryl. Or one of them's name is, what was the name? One of their names was Fredo, or Frodo or something. King Frodo. He's the one that's going to end up fighting Ubbe. I mean, I could talk a little bit more about all of that, but it basically, Ubbe explains to them. No, I'll get to that in order. The next scene is the royal family welcomes Lagertha back, and they have this dinner scene, and it was well done. It was Alfred's biggest scene in the episode, as Alfred has like one or two lines in this episode that are just really effective single lines. It's good to see when a character can be a focus character and then also step into the role of being a background character in a scene. And I think Alfred does both things really well. And yes, I'm becoming an Alfred fanboy on the show. Alfred, they have a talk about life going on and going on without you and stuff. It's a really interesting discussion that they have. And she says she's no longer a shield maiden. She has no weapon. Life goes on. She has her honesty, Judith says, and Lagertha's like, yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. So then we get Ubbe trying to explain why he's on their side, and that they can join the settlement and live there if they want, and they should do it. And then we get Judith and the Queen talking about paint color, and she admits that she killed her son in this scene very openly. She also admits that she has a lump on her breast and that other women have died from this, and she thinks she's not long for the world. Then Lagertha immediately kind of snaps out of her haze and says, well, you lost your shield too. And the Queen can't bear it. Then Lagertha says, stop. And then she comes up to Judith and she puts some paint on her fingers, and she puts some blue paint on her face, and then in an erotic kind of way. And yeah. And got to get on the other side of the shield wall. And I think this is going to start a interesting dynamic in these final two episodes between Judith and Lagertha, which is ultimately going to lead to both of their deaths together. I gotta love you, Tom. Wait, the baby's name was also the episode's name. I think the name was mentioned in one point in time. Larry, Curly, and Mo. Yes, the three kings, Larry, Curly, and Mo. And King Frodo Baggins. Oh, the name of the episode was... Baldur was the name of the... Okay, so that was the name... Which was the name of the episode, Baldur, which is the name of the baby as well. Makes me want to play Baldur's Gate. Frodo Baggins. Judith was painting Athelstan. Oh, I didn't pick that up, Icy Fury. This is why I love Icy Fury, because Icy Fury picks up on a lot of shit that I fucking miss. He's like the godfather. He's like Tom Hagen picking up some shit. Sorry. I was trying to trying to wrap the Godfather into it somehow. I see Fury, and I mean, I easily could, but Tom picks up the Godfather's pieces, or picks up all the pieces. You're my consigliere. Not a wartime consigliere, but in good times right now, I see Fury. I needed an excuse to start thinking about that again. I can't wait. Can't wait for my can't wait to start digging in. Okay, shut the fuck up and finish this episode, Phil. And then you can babble all you want. So Torvi and Ubbe talk to each other, and they say, "Yeah, we're not long for this world. We might be in a fuck situation here, and are going to die." And Torvi says, "You're really awesome. I wouldn't mind dying with you. Today is a good day to die." And Ubbe says, "Fuck that. Yeah, I'll do it." And then the other kings come up, and two of the kings say, "You know what, Ubbe? We're going to take you up on your offer. We think it's great." And I love how this is all presented in a very diplomatic kind of way. Me and Larry and Mo here, we totally want to take you up in your offer. But Curly over here, King Frodo Baggins, he thinks it's a shitty deal. And Ubbe says, fuck you. I take this as an insult. Sir, I take this as an insult, sir. I challenge you to a duel, sir. And King Frodo Baggins goes, "I thought you'd never fucking ask." And Ubbe gets this look on his face like, "Oh, that's not what I thought your reaction would be. Shit. It's going to be a tougher battle than I thought." And I love how this all played out. This is another one of those comical moments in the episode where the look on Ubbe's face, we're dealing with this, you can't help but laugh a little bit. And I can't help but believe that somehow when this was filmed, or the way it was edited, that it's being played for comedy on some level, not mockery, but a little tongue-in-cheek here, where Ubbe's it didn't expect this guy. Was like, "Yeah, let's get it on. Yeah, let's do this. Come on. I've been waiting all day for this." And that's the vibe that this dude gives him. Like, I've been waiting for you to ask, Ubbe. I've been since you showed up. I've been wanting to take a piece out of Ragnar Lothbrok's little fucking sperm child here. I want to fucking kill you, motherfucker. Secret. You're my secret consigliere. Oh my goodness. Ubbe got those raggy eyes. He really does. And he knows it. I'd say that's the one problem with it. Isn't that he has the eyes, Mingy. It's that he knows it a little bit too much at times. Okay, so Torvi would happy to die, and there's going to be a duel next week. We don't come back to that storyline until next week. I'm excited for it. I'm excited to see some one-on-one battles, which looks like we might get 2 next week. So we're back in, and Floki finally decided to ditch the loser brigade, and he's alone again talking to Wilson. "Wilson! Oh, heck, Phil. How you doing, buddy?" "I don't have any friends, Goofy." "Oh, heck, it's okay. You always have me, buddy." Thank you. It's not... oh, shit. I'm still live. Oh, sorry. I thought I went off the air. But okay, so Floki's back. He ditched all the losers, and he almost lost his faith, and he's filled with hope. He has lots of hope. So we go back to Hitz, who is being fucked with by Olaf some more, and then finally Olaf just turns to him and he goes, "You know what? I agree to kill Ivar. Come on, let's do it." And he cuts him down. So it was just this big fuckfest 97 going on here that he was just messing with him, and he's gonna help him kill Ivar. And it's looking like as we have to, I think this is the last section of the episode we're about to get into, with Ivar killing his son, or leaving his son to die. It's seeming like everything is setting up for the end part of this season, that everybody hates Ivar. That it's all setting up for a gigantic Viking gangbang of Ivar that's being set up here. That Harold and Bjorn are going to be showing up. Hvitserk and Olaf's army is going to be showing up, and possibly more. And it's going to be everybody trying to take over Kattegat. The question comes, is it going to be enough? Is Ivar with his home field advantage and his apparent or been told, and we've probably going to see it in full effect, his superior tactics, going to be able to figure a way to defend Kattegat and from all of this? Or are the people going to turn against him and we see Ivar being killed by the end of this season? That's the stuff I'm excited for in these final 2 episodes. Some of it. So the final episode, when Frodo said he wouldn't agree, Curly and Mo pulled his nose and poked him in the head and tried to poke his eyes, but he shielded it with his hands. Larry and Curly were like, we agree to settle down, but this dumbass wants to fight, says Toby. Maybe Floki discovers dragon glass in that cave. It can help out in the war for the dawn. Iceland's subtitle: Floki finds a hole. I thought Floki was going to become the next seer. Again, if you go back to please go back. No. Or if you watched us at the time, as I think Mingy did, Joe, Katie, and I, when Katie used to be on the Vikings podcast as well, I think all 3 of us and people in the chat, we all thought the direction Floki's character was going was he was going to be the next seer. And in the next generation, the seer was going to pass, and then Floki was going to be the seer for Ivar's stuff. And if they had done that with Floki's character, it would have been a very tragic and more intense moment. As much as seeing Ivar kill the seer was strong, the seer was going to die anyway. He was coughing and he was 900 years old. If that in that scene right there was Ivar killing Floki for the same reason, because Floki was arguing with him and telling him he's not a god, could have been more emotionally effective. As much as I would never want to see Floki die, it could have been, if Floki was in that position, it could have been something stronger. I'm not rewriting the show, but I tend to think the same thing, and I thought that made a lot of sense to make Floki that character. Floki is Joe versus the volcano. Floki needs to make sure he brings a lot of orange soda for the what are they called again? What are the people called? It begins with an L. It was like Les Some Oceans or something like that. I forget what it was. Oh my goodness, he's got a brain cloud. Floki's got a brain cloud. Killing Ivar would make Joe happy. It would make a lot of people happy, I think. As even the people that are feeling Ivar needs to go to his second job in Timo's basement. But I think the Ivar storyline has reached, if they end up killing Ivar at the end of this season, and we've seen the whole Ivar storyline, I think it's been very effective. I don't want to see them drag it too far, because I do think the character has a shelf life, or has to a point for me where it's going to become a little bit at a certain extent, because there's only so much they can do with him. I think they're reaching a point where if he defeats his brothers easily here, what's he go next? Then we're going to see him invading England a lot. And that's probably what's going to happen, right? As much as I want to see him die at the end of the season, see them have a lot of television balls here in this moment, what's really probably going to happen is he's going to hold it off, keep Kattegat, and next season be attempting to invade England and die in one of those invasion forces. I mean, we'll see though. So let's continue here. So is the cave the entrance to Valhalla? I think it's the entrance to Floki's death. So then we go to Ivar and his son. He's waited so long for him. It was his dream to have the perfect son, but it was only a dream. You're not divine. You remind me of me, and you continue to remind everyone of what I am, and I cannot let that happen. Can't let you suffer like I did, and I won't do that to him. What father would do that to a son? It's so well played, so subtle, so harsh. He doesn't kill him. At first, I thought he was going to cut him, but he leaves him on his own on some random boat. And the baby cries as Ivar sleeks away. He stops, hearing the kid scream, but he doesn't go back, and he goes away. So then we go off to Floki, who sees a hole in the mountain, and he says it's the tunnel to hell. We hear some bees buzz around him as he enters the hole. Oh, out of context expressions as he enters that hole. And that hole, everybody, and I'm not kidding, I'm dead fucking serious. That hole, in the brief moment that we had in this episode, was more interesting than all of fucking Iceland. And I'm not exaggerating. All of fucking Iceland, that hole was more interesting right there. I'm curious what's inside the hole. What's in the box? And that is our episode of Vikings. Excellent episode of Vikings. One of the best of the season. I'd have to rewatch the whole season to specifically point out, but this is probably, if it's not the best episode of the season, it's the episode I've had the least problems with. There's not much I didn't like about it. I generally was entertained by it. Brought me all over the emotional roller coaster that a Vikings episode should bring me through. Felt like it was on a higher quality than some other episodes we've gotten in the earlier part of this half a season, but felt like it fit into the perfect dynamic of the direction that this back half of the season has gone and is the next logical step of it. Really good shit. And we finally get Ragnar motherfucking Lothbrok back here. And I don't know why I did that to my voice right there when I said Ragnar, just because I'm very happy about it. It was at the right time. I've been craving to see him again and to finally get to see him one more time, or maybe not one more time. Maybe we will see him again a few more times now that we've seen him at least once. Maybe we'll open the floodgates to bring that character back, since Bjorn's saying he's having visions of him. Maybe we can actually see that in the flesh now. And I wouldn't mind if Ragnar's just hanging out all the time. Like bring more Ragnar into this show, because he was such an important part of the foundation of the show. And if you're going to continue have his kids be a central focus part and mention him constantly in every episode, you have so much material of him. Start using him more in the way that Athelstan was used briefly in some episodes when we see him flashing by. And bring his energy into the show, because it only raises the level of the content and keeps people reminded of why they love this show or why they fell in love with the show. His kids and the actors that they chose to play him some people are going to be hit and miss on Ivar, but I think in general they were pretty well cast and they're entertaining. But I still don't think the show has a central star of someone that's you tune in to see that one person. You tune in to watch Vikings. And with Ragnar, you tuned in to watch Ragnar and watch Vikings. He was worth tuning in for his performance, or if you were just watching him from a pretty boy standpoint, or you were just into that energy that he brought because he was new to acting and he kind of brought this like interesting new discovery to him, or we're watching for the raggy eyeballs, whatever. He was the star. And to ignore that he will always be the star of Vikings is folly. Bring him back more. There's plenty of times where you could have moments where you have him for a second, a look on his face even. Just seeing his face back on the show rose the level of the show. I'm not bullshitting. It's not fucking fake. It's real. Having a star of a show back brings it up a touch. Even if he can't be on it every episode or new content with him, use what you have. He obviously is okay with his likeness being on the show, so you can use old shit. Or he'd be okay with coming back if he had time, if he was able to come back for this episode. I'm not sure. I'm still not sure if that was any new stuff that they shot with him, or if that was all cutting room floor stuff or different angles or whatever of stuff that they had of his final scenes. Either way, it was amazing seeing him again. And the show should do that more and lean on him more as they keep his kids being the prime stars, quote unquote, of the show. He needs to be always felt on the show. Whatever. Yeah, Travis carried it, and it's not a weakness to bring him back when you need him, as a character or as just a force on the show. And they do mention him a lot, but they don't find opportunities in a program that plays with dream sequences a lot. You need to play with Ragnar more. Play with Ragnar more as as the wine is going straight to my fucking bloody head. I'm not used to drinking wine. It's a different kind. It's a different drunk than beer and hard alcohol. They're all different drunks. So next week we see Ivar confronting Freydis, the wars to come, some single battles between both whoa, Bjorn and Harold Finehair, and oh my goodness, and Ubbe and King Frodo Baggins of House Curly. I couldn't think of Ubbe's name there, so it fucked up everything. I was gonna start with the other battle, but it was a cascade of brain explosion, and it's just gonna keep happening more. He's technically still in the intro, right? Do they still say his name in the intro? I think sometimes. I'm trying to think. Visually, he's still in the intro. I believe he is. Yes. And he should be on the show more. Timo, let Travis out of your basement once in a while for some fucking appearances on the Vikings show. Come on, Timo. Be generous with your Travis time. And you can take Ivar back down there and send him off there. So I can't advocate for Phil. I keep on chugging so I get drunk no matter what I'm drinking. Phil... I can't advocate for... Okay, but I do feel like I do get drunk no matter what I'm drinking, but especially if you drink a little amount. Like, granted, this wonderful glass given to me by the amazing Timo in the live chat. I'm like some dude that I'm only dressed. This shirt given to me by Timo. These pants... No. by the grace of Timo. I feel like wine high is a little bit more like in my head, where beer high feels like a little bit more down in my body. And hard alcohol high is, to me, if you can figure out the balance of drinking like booze straight, that's the best drunk. Especially like vodka, pure vodka. Like if you can figure out a proper vodka balance with food and drink. Like shot, eat, shot, eat, shot, eat. Shot, eat, shot, eat, shot, eat. You can drink vodka forever, and it's the best drunk. Things we learn from things we don't learn. But yeah, that's our episode of Vikings. Great episode. Awesome stuff. Fun. Favorite of the season. And me be hyperbolic? Never. But definitely my favorite of the season. And... on par with some other good episodes from the Travis era too. I just think this was a really good episode of Vikings. Edited well, acted well, written well. It was the perfect balance, and I cannot say that about all episodes this season. I think everything worked in this. I think the last couple of weeks have been exceptionally well done, and Judith has carried it in a lot of ways, and I've thought Ivar's been really... melted into it this back half and showed us a lot of different sides. Bjorn has stopped overacting to a certain extent that he was doing in the first half of the season that I thought I was like, what the fuck are you doing? Finehair continuously is interesting. Ubbe overacts a little bit and eyeballs the camera sometimes because he's got the Ragnar eyeballs, so he's making sure you know it. But I still, in general, have liked Ubbe's storyline this season. His connection with Alfred and his connection with Torvi, who both are two of my favorite MVPs of the season, has just been really well done. And I like how in these final... it seems like in these this episode and the final two are going to be more Viking-centric, which some of our other highlight moments of the season have been the Wessex stuff with Alfred. And I think that's a cool thing that Viking sometimes does. The mid-season orgasms of television are usually the side character storylines, and they save the big explosions of the Viking stuff for the end season moments. And I think we're going to get some big explosions in these final 2 episodes. I think we're going to see Lagertha and Judith both going. We're going to see, I'm going to call it that Ivar's going to be dead before the end of the season. No, I'm not. No, he's not going to be dead. Bjorn's going to be dead by the end of the season. One of Ragnar's kids aren't coming into next season. That's such a horribly cheaty way of saying it, but whatever. I think it. Phil is Lucille Booth in a drinking contest. Oh, Lucille would kill me. Both Lucille's would. Lucille 1 and 2. Phil wouldn't stay. I would lose in a drinking contest. Bad. Ragnar is a ghost, bro. He's gone. I know, but ghosts are very much a part of Vikings and come back a lot. So that's all I'm saying. If characters that have dreams and have dream sequences, there's moments where you could bring Ragnar back and it would be effective. But Brian, you're right. Ivar is not real. She's a fake. It's a fake. Ubbe might lose. Ubbe might lose too. Ubbe might be the Ragnar kid that dies as well. I definitely think one of Ragnar's kids is dead as a disco. And let's go. Oh, hey, what do we got going on here? Oh, we got Jay left a voicemail asking Timo's back, so can I play her theme song? I did, but you never have to ask me to play Timo's theme song twice, Jay. So here you go.
It's Timo's rhythm tonight. It's Timo's rhythm tonight. Fuck Sansa, fuck Sansa, fuck Sansa, fuck Sansa. It's Timo's rhythm tonight. 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 It's rhythm tonight. Go Ramsey, slow.
Yeah, and Timo, just from I don't think either Bjorn or Ivar die in that big battle. I think Bjorn is one of those characters that will almost likely make it towards the end half of the season. I think Ivar does withstand the attack on Kattegat and will be in England next season playing chess with Alfred. I think that's been foreshadowed and that's going to be happening. But maybe Bjorn could oust Ivar out of Kattegat and take over Kattegat for a while, and Ivar's forced to go on, take whatever forces he have and head over to England and rule a raiding force of some sort, finding a bunch of loyalists or at least working with somebody. I don't know. Realistically speaking, I doubt the show has balls to kill off any of the main characters other than Lagertha this season. But we'll see. We'll see. It depends what they're slated for the next season, how big of a time jump. If they want to do other eras of Vikings before they end the series, or if they're just going to end. This isn't going to be Vikings. It's going to be Vikings, the Ragnar and his kids' tales. Like, is season 6 going to be new not brand new characters, but different groups of Vikings in different time periods? Are we going to get into some of the other famous Vikings that aren't connected to Ragnar? We will see. But oh, no worries, Jay. I'll play that song all the fucking time, motherfucker. I still need to get Jay a song. I want to say in one of the Game of Thrones podcasts 2 years ago, I gave you a song, Jay. Now, let's see. What do we see? What do we got to see? Holy shit. The Saxons, when you finally repel the Vikings out of England after centuries of occupation, sacking wars, but 2 weeks later, the Normans invade and beat you into Hastings and you occupy again, says Antoine Thomas. Okay, Phil, remember when I said last week about staying... Is this from... Okay, this is a newer comment from Antoine Thomas. Okay, Phil, remember when I said last week about staying among the Anglo-Saxons and Judith? I did some thinking about real life. That might have been a great idea because it was safe among them during war times. If Ivar and his Vikings or William the Conqueror and the Normans were to invade, black people like me and other YouTubers would have been sent to Ireland back in the day of Norman conquest. What do you think? King Arthur days, black people were already here and some arrived in Britain before the Anglo-Saxon invasion. More likely, I was there during those times. I would have been married to an Anglo-Saxon girl, blonde. Do you think she'll look like the blonde from Happy Death Day? I don't know if I've seen Happy Death Day. Good comment, as always, from Antoine Thomas, or a question. Antoine Thomas, I can see you there, married in King Arthur's days, dancing with Merlin. I would see you would be in the Merlin's wizard corps, wouldn't you, Antoine Thomas? Oh, good stuff as always, everybody. So I do want to change the subject off Vikings a little bit here into a different discussion. So let me play some change the subject music. Change the subject music to House on a Haunted Hill or whatever it is. Okay, I watched the Netflix series House on a Haunted Hill, or whatever it was, and I gotta say, it was I actually really enjoyed it, and I'm not a big advocate for shows like that, for horror haunting kind of shows. It's not my genre, but I thought in general it was put together pretty well. There were some over-the-top moments, but very few total eye-rolling moments. It had some good acting. At times it was slow-moving, but it wasn't something I did not enjoy in a genre that's not my genre. I'm not a big horror movie fan. I'm more of a fan if I'm going to go do scary shit. It's like the 80s slasher movies because they're kind of funny, specifically Nightmare on Elm Street movies. I always was a partial to Nightmare on Elm Street movies. Sorry, Jason Voorhees, if you're still in the live chat somewhere. I do like the Friday the 13th movies too for the same reason, because they have sort of a comical feel, especially the later half ones. But those early ones freaked me out, especially part 4 with Corey Feldman and shit. Corey Feldman's a scary fucker. But I got to say, I'm not a big horror or haunty kind of scary movie type person, but a couple people have requested or asked me to have watched the series, but it was well done through most. Not spoilers, no spoilers here other than generalities here. The end. The problem I had with the whole series was the way it all ended. I feel like for my taste, the tone of the series was set in one direction throughout most of it, and then it ended in a very different tone. That's as general as I can be without spoilers about it. And I thought that was a little weird, because I don't think it was earned as much as it should have been, if that makes any sense. I think the characters were all pretty well fleshed out. At times it reminded me of some Stephen King stuff and some, I can't even put my finger on which ones exactly, but I could feel some influences. I never found it truly scary. It had a few jump scare moments and some gross out stuff, but it was more some of the real life elements of it were more scary when they started talking about like some fuck ups, like real life fuck up type situations. But I thought it was general acted pretty well, but the conclusion of it I thought was dog shit. I thought it was unearned. I thought it wrapped up, which was good, because most things don't necessarily always wrap up, but I didn't like how it did, if that makes any sense to the people that have watched it. I know I'm late on this, but it was a good watch, even though the end point was not as effective as I wanted it to be. Okay. I watched that whole shit. I did. More of the Wish You Were Here cover. Oh, you want to hear more of the Wish You Were Here cover? Let me take a quick break here to eat a sandwich and play some of our very own Hannibal O'Neill from the live motherfucking chat playing Wish You Were Here.
Hot ashes for trees, hot air for a cool breeze.
I agree. There were certain episodes of it that really hit high points, and I think maybe it was episodes 5 and 6. There were certain points where I was like, this is really good TV, and it had me engaged up to a certain points with certain cliffhangers and certain moments. I was like, yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah, fuck yeah. The ending was somewhat of a disappointment. Not so much of a disappointment that it made the journey not worth it. But the ending for me was a disappointment in the way it was laid out, because I feel like, again, it was unearned, and it was almost the antithesis of what the vibe of the series was.
Illegal in a cage. Fuck it. How I wish you were here. We're just two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl, year after year, running over the same old ground. What have we found? Same old fear.
Oh my goodness. To answer Timo's question, am I ready for the Punisher? I'm very excited for the Punisher, but I'm also Punisher, and I'm very excited for Jessica Jones season 3 as well. Even though season 2 had some was uneven and not on par with season 1. I'm hoping for a Daredevil season 3 to season 1 kind of type thing with Jessica Jones, and get back to what was awesome about the first season. But Punisher, I'm really excited for, but I also feel bittersweet. Bittersweet is a good word for it, a good way of expressing it. I'm somewhat sad that this era of those series are over. I know not everyone loves them, but I kind of in general love this universe, and I'm not ready for Punisher to be canceled. Although I don't know if this is evidence or not evidence that Punisher might be canceled or has nothing to do with it. There was an announcement this week. I forget who the other person was that was announced. Maybe someone knows in the live chat or in the comments, can post this later. John Barenthal just got announced this week as one of 2 actors that signed on for the Sopranos prequel thing. So it looks like John Barenthal is going to somehow be a part of the Sopranos HBO thing that's going to be coming out in a couple of years. I don't know what year that's slated for. If I was to guess, I would probably guess sometime in 2020 it will come out. I'm refusing to go to Disney down here as a sign of protest. Marvel shows will show up on Disney streaming. Maybe, but I think there's a lot of videos and a lot of information out there you can find. But I think unless something big happens, we're probably not going to see new Charlie Cox playing Daredevil and Vincent D'Onofrio playing the Kingpin, unless they decide to bring D'Onofrio into the movies, which wouldn't be a horrible thing. But I still want to see more of him in series. I do want to see D'Onofrio Kingpin in a Spider-Man situation. I don't know how that could be done. Could he be in a Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man universe kind of thing? Maybe. I hope Marvel Disney doesn't fuck this up, because even if you don't think that all these series are perfect, these characters were cast so perfect. And some of them, except for one that thou shall not be mentioned, 4 of these characters were cast so fucking well, and one of them never happened. Have a good night, Antoine. Thank you for the comments as always, buddy. Jay says, I think I'm more excited for Punisher than Jessica Jones without Kilgrave. I don't care so much about Jessica Jones. At least Karen will not be on Punisher. I wish they could kill her. Fuck that mouse. Fuck. Ha, ha. Phil, did you catch The Sopranos cast reunites 20th anniversary? I haven't watched it yet, but a couple people sent me links to that, and I thank you for that. I will definitely check that out at some point. I can't wait. Maybe I will watch that before bed. I also mentioned this the other night. I want to talk about it again. True Detective Season 3 is on right now. There's 2 episodes if you have HBO. There's 2 episodes up so far. I will say this. If you never watched True Detective, this isn't for you. Or not that the show isn't for you, but what I'm saying is the people that watched Season 1 and didn't like Season 2. If you watched Season 1 of True Detective and didn't like Season 2, I highly recommend you give Season 3 a try. The first 2 episodes I watched definitely have me hooked. It gave me... It's not the same thing because it's a different take. And it's... Some people are going to like it. Some people aren't going to like it. Whatever. But I think if you enjoyed this first season of True Detective, there's a good percentage that you would enjoy this. I'm at work playing... Oh, we got Big Kev, who's playing a live poker tournament right now. I was wishing he could be with us live right now. Lots of love to Big Kev. And I want to give my good friend Megan in our good live motherfucking chatter, who says, well, Phil, fuck, I got issues, man. You failed to give the reason Season 3 of True Detective is so original. Proper Season 1 concepts feels McConaughey and Harrison are co-producers now, with the new writers and producers back to the Southern Mojo Voodoo religioso mysterious aura using POC from the region this time. So thank you, Megan. Always never being afraid. Kaylana in the live motherfucking chat, never being afraid to call me out when I am fucked. So love my Kaylana, love my Megan. So thank you. Great point. And the showrunner right now is also someone that worked on Better Call Saul and is part of that Vince Gilligan universe. So you have that level of quality too. So I am majorly thumbs up and on the first 2 episodes of True Detective Season 3. So if you like Season 1, did not like Season 2, I say come back and give Season 3 a try. I'm mad at them for taking Charlie, DD, and Punisher. Yeah, it's fucked. It's gonna be bad if we never see those actors playing those characters again. Because, fuck, man. I mean, D'Onofrio dwarfs Cox in just... D'Onofrio's dwarfing Cox dwarfs Cox in what you talk or what the buzz comes out of these Daredevil seasons. You know, the Kingpin's such a big character, and Daredevil is done so well in these seasons. Every one of them, even Defenders. I like the Defenders more than a lot of people do. I think it's the most bearable that Iron Fist is, because of other people being around and making fun of him a bit. And I don't think it's perfect, and I think it could have been a lot better. But I think if that was the only Iron Fist we got in the Defenders, I'd be all right with the Iron Fist, which is what he should have been. Never should have got his own series. Fuck 2 seasons of it, and I know there's fans of the 2nd season of Iron Fist, and I like Colleen too. You can put Colleen on a different show. Somehow Colleen could show up on the Defenders, and then we get her showing up on a spin-off series with Misty or something, whatever. But Colleen is a good character. That doesn't mean Danny Rand's a good character. But if you only had Iron Fist show up in Defenders, he would have been a little bit more bearable. Just a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. I've been into the international shows on Netflix. They're awesome. Netflix has opened up the floodgates with a lot of really cool random stuff that they've been adding because they've been losing shows because other networks are wanting to do their own streaming services, so they pull certain shows from Netflix. But Netflix has been supplementing it with a lot of good, I agree, a lot of good international stuff, a lot of good BBC stuff. I mean, that's international stuff. But also a lot of cool documentaries, a lot of good stand-up comedy stuff. Got added really recently. Bill Hicks, Sam Kinison stuff got added. And yeah, some fun stuff. I've talked about this the last show too, but I want to mention it again because I did enjoy it and it was horribly wonderful. The Netflix show, or it's not a Netflix show, it's actually a Lifetime show that was bought by Netflix. And season 2 will be coming out on Netflix. Not her. Well, I keep wanting to call it her. You, with Penn Badgley, that people would know from Gossip Girl. Yes, it is cheesy. Yes, it's schmaltzy. Yes, it's over the top. But it's also very fun, very funny, and very creepy. So I would definitely recommend You. It's not going to be for, I say this about everything, it's not going to be for everybody. So, I'm not saying everyone should watch it, but if you have any warmth or ability to get into cheesiness, or you watched Gossip Girl, I highly recommend it. It's a fun watch. It was done very well for the kind of show it was trying to make. You may not like the kind of show it is, but for the kind of show it was trying to make, it was done well. It only gets eye-rolly in a few parts towards the end half of the series, but for the most part, it's a very fun watch. I have not watched Bird Box yet. I've heard mixed things about it. I have watched Vandersnatch, as I've talked about that. But You is something I recently just watched, and then House on Haunted Hill, I finally, or Haunted House, or whatever the fuck it's called. Haunting at Hill House is what it's called. That's what it is. And You, we just binged. I do want to watch Young Justice. Jay's said that a couple of times, and being a fan of the DC animated series of the 90s as much as I am, I hear Young Justice brings back that feel. You love Gossip Girl, Timo. Timo, shut me off right now and watch the first episode of You on Netflix, or whenever you shut me off. I'm finishing up pretty soon, wrapping things up pretty soon. But when we wrap up here, if you're looking for something to kind of take your mind into ridiculous directions, it's romantic comedy, part thriller, part a lot of stuff that I don't want to say because I don't want to spoil it. Is it great? No. Is it good and can you imagine that this is the future of Gossip Girl? of Dan? Yes. And does it make you smile in the worst possible way? Yeah. Are you going to hate yourself a little bit watching it? Yeah. I know. It's fun. It's fun. It's a fun watch. Not great. Fun watch. No, it's good. It's called You. YOU. Now that I say that, your Netflix is going to hear me and it's going to be in your suggested stuff. Like a spider has crawled from here to you right now, and it is now in your queue without you even realizing it. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. It examines the fine line between. I don't like to talk. I don't want to talk too much about it for spoiler stuff, but it's pretty direct right from the beginning that it walks a fine line between like what's being interested in someone, what's too far, what are relationships, what are when people are codependent. I couldn't think of codependent because I'm codependent with you guys to tell me what to think of what to feel. I'm codependent with my friends, with my live motherfucking chatters. Yeah, it's all right. I don't want to build it up because it's nothing super special. It's just a fun, quick watch that's that goes in some crazy directions. It's one of those like, oh my fucking God. Oh, fuck. You know the kind of shows. Hell no. I still watch old shit all the fucking time, Tom. I was just watching Becker the other. No, I'm kidding. I wasn't watching Becker, but I probably more watch shows that I've seen before over and over again than I watch new stuff. But I do watch a lot of new shows that are on, and I have my group of shows. But I do have a couple of other ones that I'm like a list that I go on shows that are on my I have to watch this show list. But I was on a kick recently on watching some new shows. I watched that Tony Danza show, The Good Cop, also on Netflix. I asked Phil, but yeah, it will be there, Timo. It will be. Like, literally, you're going to go to top suggestions for Timo. You. It's listening. What about the Big Lebowski show? There's a Big Lebowski show? You're just going to keep ignoring about me when I ask it. What Big Lebowski show? What the fuck are you talking about? You may be right, Tom, but you're an asshole, dude. What the fuck are you talking about? This is what happens when you fuck a stranger in the ass, dude. Get me... You make a hell of a Caucasian, dude. There's a Big Lebowski show? Like, what is that? No, you're just making shit up. You're trolling me. Is it some show that they say is like the Big Lebowski? You mean that show on AMC that the advertising slogan is like the Big Lebowski? And it's full of shit because it's not? Timo says, and since I've been watching international TV shows, which are freaking awesome, Netflix knocks out the park each time. Check out Fauda, El Chapo, and Mossad 101. The show you were good. Oh, okay. Fucking A, Tom. Now I know what you mean. Now I'm the asshole. I'm the fucking asshole. You mean, where's the podcast show? Where's my show? I see what got confusing there is I thought you were saying that there was going to be a television show about the Big Lebowski that I wasn't talking about, or some show that was compared to the Big Lebowski. Okay, you mean when am I doing a podcast about the Big Lebowski? Okay, I'm definitely got to do that soon. Sooner rather than later. Sometime this winter, I'm going to be doing a podcast on the Big Lebowski, and also a podcast I got to do for Big Kev on Half Baked. So yes, I thought you were talking. That's what it was, Blue Steel. Thank you, Blue Steel. It was the show Lodge 49, and it sucked. I thought you were referring to that show, like Tom, and I got confused. I thought you were saying, why aren't you watching that Big Lebowski show? If you like 90s animated shows, you should watch the cartoononline.tv. It has all the animated shows. Awesome, Jay. I will definitely check that out. Narcos is a really good show as well if you haven't checked it out on Netflix. So everybody, I guess I should start to wrap things up. It's been awesome talking to you guys this evening about a really fun episode of Vikings and babbling to you as well. I'm not quite, I guess I'm almost done. I'm not quite done, but let me just start to wrap things up. And hey, what about my fucking data lower fucking show, you asshole? Okay. You know what I'm doing right now? Let me not get away with this shit. Let me not make a list for myself. Where's my make me a list. We're open office. Where's my open office? Open office. Let me make a fucking list. I got to make a list. Big Lebowski. Data. I'll tell you what happened with the data and lore. Data lore. And half-baked. The data and the lore one, I wanted to try to get a guest host on that one, a very specific guest host, and she temporarily refused me until she had a chance to rewatch the series. She will be on at some point in time talking about some Star Trek stuff. So I kept kind of putting that off. But now that we're back in Star Trek season, I'll be more in the mood with Orville and STD premiering on Sunday. Thank you to Wonderful Bug. Phil, is it a good time to ask about relationships? As Jay said, if you want to ask me one more little couple more questions here at the end, we'll take a few more questions or comments. But yes, if you have a question for Dr. Phil, the issues guy. No, Tom, I know what you're doing. You're trying to stall. You're like, no. Let's see how long we can stall Phil from going. When he says he has to go, he'll take another hour. It's like, yeah, I think I should go. 2 hours later, still talking. That's fucking great shit. So the data lore thing will come at some point. I also need to do, oh yes, I forgot. I need to write down The Godfather. Even though I know I'm Godfather trilogy review. So yes, we got 1, 2, 3, 4 shits on here right now. I think the link is probably going to be blocked in there, Jay. But I can share it. There you go. That's the link. It's blocking your link. Because it doesn't want you sending links. It's an asshole. It doesn't want you fucking sending links. So, everybody, you guys have been awesome as always. Okay. Tom himself. Phil, let's say you're at a party. Not likely. Okay, I'm at a party. Let's say you're at a party. If for some reason you want to be left alone in the corner, you're getting drunk. Do you have any moves to keep chicks away from coming at you in those moments? Is that a real question? Okay, you really want to know the answer to that question? The answer to that question, if you want people to stay away from you at a party, the easiest way to do that is to not make eye contact with anybody and to kind of like look down. It's easy these days with your fucking phones because you can just fucking sit there in a corner and be like, I'm ignoring you. Yep. Okay. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Just be a dick to yourself. Wait, dick yourself? Not in public, but you know what I mean. Just be as closed off as possible. If that's really what you want to know, be as closed off as possible. Isolate yourself to a comfortable area. Figure out what place in the party you want to sit down on and where you want to be comfortable. Like, don't worry about anybody else. Find your corner. Find your comfortable spot. Sit there and don't talk to anybody. Don't make eye contact. If someone comes over to you and starts talking to you, like, hi, Betty, I can see you in the background. Someone comes over and starts talking to you, just go, yeah. Mm-hmm. As little words as possible. No eye contact. Sorry, I made eye contact with you guys. So, yeah. Just do that for a while and just like kind of nod to yourself. Mm-hmm. Giggle a couple times too. And people will walk right away. They won't want to be around you. I mean, the other option is making sure you don't shower for a couple days beforehand so you stink really, really bad too. That always works. So I think those are the best ways that if you're at a party and you don't want anyone to come up to you, I think those are some of the best tactics to use. Phil, let's Tom, now you want to discuss relationships? Tom always wants to discuss relationships. He wants to sit on the couch here. Awesome, I see. Callie. I hate when an awesome person pops in the live chat and I'm already wrapping up. I'm like, Callie, say time to wrap up the party. But no, Callie, you're fucking awesome. And yes, I can see Betty in the background. I'm glad now. I'm liking this the way I have this set up a little bit, like where I have the camera exactly, because now I can see Betty in the background when he's running up, and I moved the wheel to a much more accessible area. But now we're only talking on the internet. My question is, should I tell her I'm actually Brazilian or how long I can keep it up with this shit? I have a good story to tell her when she busts me. I think we got lost in translation a little bit there, Tom. Oh my goodness. Jay wants to add, if you're a girl, don't try this. It could be playing hard to get and it could turn the guys on more. Fair enough. I'm talking about if you're me or you're Tom at a party, I think that's the best way to get people to stay away from you. And that's advice from me to you. Oh my goodness. Hey everybody. If you haven't already and you enjoyed this video, please hit the like button, please hit the subscribe button, share the channel with a friend. If you really, really like us and you want to help us keep growing and going, think about joining our Patreon program or supporting us in one of the many ways you can find in the link in the description box below. But I have a few other ways you can help us out with shit like that coming up soon. And yeah. If you want to check out more, make sure you are subscribed. Even if you're not into Vikings or you're not into Better Call Saul or you're not into Game of Thrones, if you're not into Walking Dead, I'm sure there'll be something I'll talk about that you're into, like Cobra Kai or a movie or something. Request something. Star Trek, Orville, True Detective, Punisher. We're going to be talking about all that stuff coming up soon, so make sure you join the fun. If you're listening to the audio podcast of this, sorry the audio podcast has been MIA for a couple weeks. I backlogged stuff, been really busy running around, dealing with some real life bullshit. So either you're not listening, either I'm going to upload all 3 podcasts like the same day, or if you're missing 2 podcasts, missing last week's Vikings cast and missing the Game of Thrones cast that we did, make sure, or Sunday Night Live random one we did, make sure you come to the YouTube channel, subscribe, Phil the Issues Guy on YouTube. Next live show will probably be Sunday evening. We need one more round. But maybe before. We will see. Perhaps. Maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow evening, early evening. I might find an excuse to do something. What's on tomorrow evening? Is Orville on tomorrow night? I think it might be. Maybe I'll talk after the Orville episode. Never can tell. Or tomorrow afternoon or something. I don't know. The next couple of days are weird for me. I had a job interview kind of thing today that I hope I get this particular job. So I don't know if I get a call back, I'm going to start training immediately. But we will see. But tomorrow evening I may have some free time, so maybe I'll come out and do a little something. I don't know. But if not, Sunday evening maybe after Discovery. Or just randomly Sunday evening for some random podcast of some sort if I don't get a chance, because I'm not sure if I have access to CBS Access right now. So I might have to watch it the next day via the pirate waves. So either tomorrow evening, afternoon, sometime tomorrow. Make sure you subscribe. And possibly Sunday evening. Ooh, Gotham's tomorrow. Oh yeah, we got Gotham and Orville tomorrow night. So maybe I'll watch both of those and come out and do a little something tomorrow evening. And do a Thursday Night Live or some random topic conversation or some shit. We'll see. True Detective on Sunday. Yeah, I've got my on the free preview or free week of HBO Now. I think I might have to keep it through the whole True Detective season because I'm that interested in it that I might want to watch it live. Keep my horns straight. I didn't know that they made interviews for male gigolos. No. That's what I do to try to get the job. You know, I sell myself to try to get it. Yeah. Well, I'll talk about it more if it happens. But But hopefully it'll be a cool job to work and work well with being able to do podcasts and actually even maybe do some more podcasts on some different subjects based around this stuff too. So anyways, it should be fun. I will let you guys know, as this podcast isn't just about television. Obviously, it's a mini podcast reality show of some sort, I guess. So I will always keep you guys in play of what the fuck I'm doing. So I'll let you know. It's nothing too glamorous, but it should be fun. So everybody, I feel like I always have to play the music at the end. And do one more. Good night, everybody. I still have 5,000 things to say. So when's the next time I'm going to be on? What a horrible way to answer that question. I'm like, well, maybe tomorrow. Maybe Sunday. Definitely one of the two. Okay. Actually, Sunday might be weird. So definitely tomorrow. And if I'm not on Sunday, I'll be on Monday or something. Peace out, everybody. Talk to you soon.